your comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. Letting the eyes fall closed and starting to pull the awareness inward. Letting go of the day so far, forgetting about anything that you might need to do later. For this next hour, it's just us, just here and just now. Letting the shoulders soften down away from the ears. The shoulder blades slide down the back. Imagining that little thread connected to the crown of your head, setting you up just a little bit taller than usual. Then starting to notice the breath. Not to control it, but just to notice what your baseline is. How are you arriving to your practice today? Then starting to soften through the rib cage and let the diaphragm drop. Let those inhales start to fill that whole belly space, that whole chest space. Each breath a little bit deeper and a little bit longer than the one before. Now you might need to double check from time to time that the belly actually is soft. Should be inflating like a balloon on the inhale and lowering on the exhale. Now, if your mind starts to wander, make sure you bring it back to the sense of your breath, into your body, out of your mind. And taking the biggest, deepest breath of the day, filling that whole belly space, that whole chest space. Then through the mouth with a sigh, exhale completely. All right. So we're gonna set our legs in Siddhasana. So that's just with one leg in front of the other. It's also okay if you need to sit on a block to make this happen. You just pop the block right under your butt, and then it makes the pose an awful lot easier. But if you can do it from the floor, do it from the floor. Then we're just gonna walk ourselves forward. Thinking about keeping the spine nice and long, not rounding until you hit the bottom. All right, using those fingers, gently press yourself up. Okay, now some options here for how you want to approach this. You can put your right hand down in front of that right knee and just inhale that left arm high. If you can, bring that right forearm down to the ground with the elbow about level with the knee. Open up there. Now you want to make sure you lengthen that spine. And then ideally you want that left shoulder to be just a little bit behind the right shoulder. Really long spine. Now, if this is feeling pretty good, you have the option of dropping that hand behind your back and then reaching for that right thigh. Don't feel like you have to go somewhere your body doesn't want you to go. Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna switch to the other side. Either planting that hand down or that forearm down. Option to drop that hand behind the back, reaching for that left thigh. Gazing to the ceiling if it's possible. Thinking about getting the heart to open up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Coming back to center. Now we're just gonna switch those legs. So whichever's in the front, move it back. Whichever is in the back, move it forward. Bring those fingers to the mat. Walking yourself forward. Thinking about keeping that spine nice and long. And bringing those fingers to the mat, gently press yourself up. We're gonna do one more time on this side. So either bring that left forearm down or that left hand down, opening up into your twist. Dropping the hand behind the back if you want to. Beautiful. Inhaling back to center. Dropping that right forearm down or that right hand down. Bringing the hand behind the back if you want to. Maybe reaching for that thigh. Opening the heart to the sky. Beautiful. Inhaling back to center, bring those arms up. Dropping that right arm down, exhale. Thinking about keeping that left sit bone glued to the ground, active reach through those fingers. Totally okay to be up on the hand here if that's what your body's asking for. And if you can come down to the forearm, but just barely, feel free to use a block. That's okay too. Notice what's going on with your breath here. Are you holding it? Try to take some nice, long, deep, smooth breaths. And engage the core, inhaling back to center. Exhaling left. Take your time. Go to whatever level is right for you. Keeping that right sit bone glued to the ground. Gently rolling back with that right shoulder. And engage the core. Inhaling back to center. And exhale. Float those arms down. All right, headed for our tabletop. And then right into cat pose. So press the ground away, tuck the tailbone, gaze drops to the navel, lifting the belly up towards the spine like a scared hollowing cat. Owl pose, inhale, let the belly drop, the tailbone lift, the gaze gently lift. Shoulders are soft, down away from the ears. Now swinging the torso to the right. Up into cat pose, exhale. Swing left, down into cow pose, inhale. Keep your circle moving, softening through shoulders, softening through hips. Let your body guide you. It'll tell you where you need to give some special attention. Try not to make each revolution the same. A little bit different each time around. Now this can look like absolutely anything. It can be as fast or as slow as you want, as minimalist, or you could go full Cirque du Soleil if you want to. Now this is hard to describe, but I like to do this diagonal thing from the right hip up to the left shoulder. Maybe you can do that, waving the spine from that right hip up through that left shoulder. All right, switching directions when you're ready. Now feel free to get the head and neck involved if you want to. Maybe going for that diagonal. Left hip up to that right shoulder. All right, guys. Taking a big inhale. And exhale, sitting back to your child's pose. Bring those hips down to the heels, rest that forehead on the floor. Now the knees can be together or apart here, whichever you prefer. If you have them together, it's more of a low back stretch. If you have them apart, it's more of a hip stretch. So whichever your body is craving, go for it. And then try to find your stillness. Let those joints settle into place, releasing as many of those muscles as you can. All right, guys, gently tuck those toes under and then press yourself back so that you're seated on your heels. We're just gonna warm up those wrists and forearms. So using your thumb on your fingernails, make sure to get that pinky in there too. Create some resistance and flick. So really activating those muscles in the back of the arm and the forearms. And grab, squeezing nice and tight. And flick. Take this at your own pace, just flicking and grabbing. All right, shaking those wrists out. Maybe the other way, maybe every which way. All right, here we go. Reaching those arms way forward, spread those fingers, plant those palms, engage through the fingertips, pressing through the knuckle pads. Tuck those toes under, lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So take a moment, settle in, maybe pedaling those heels out, maybe shifting hips from side to side, whatever feels good here, go for it. All right, now starting to think about your alignment, getting those hips in line with the shoulders, in line with the wrists, one straight line. For most folks, that means melting the heart a little bit towards the floor, pressing the ground away, getting those hips lifted nice and high behind. It's okay to bend your knees here too if you need to. The main thing is that nice long spine.
Check in with your breath, making sure it's nice and long, deep and smooth. Notice what's going on in those hands. Have you kept the integrity of your grip there, or are you starting to put the weight into the base of your wrist? Make sure you're engaged through those fingertips, through those knuckle pads. And then almost like you're trying to protect a little bubble from popping under the palm of your hand, keep that little bit of a dome in the palm. All right, guys. Looking between the hands, we're gonna step that right foot forward between the hands. Then we're gonna inhale up to our lunge. Awesome. Check in with that front knee. Make sure it's pointed straight forward from the hip socket. If it's caving in at all, engage through that outer thigh, through that right glute to pull it in line. Awesome. Now, anything you want to do with your arms here, go for it. If your fingers are starting to get tingly, heart center is a great place to go. Now hang in there. I know these are a little bit long, and they're supposed to be. Challenging our endurance, making us grow. Checking on that breath, keeping it nice and long, deep and slow. Beautiful, good job, guys. All right, bringing those fingers to the mat. We're gonna step that right foot just back to downward dog. Taking a few breaths here. Find that beautiful alignment, that nice straight spine. Heart melting towards the floor, hips high. Now, if you're feeling compressed around the neck, think about rolling those triceps under to open the front body. Good job, guys. Looking between the hands, left foot steps forward, inhaling up, lunge. Good. Now take your time getting there. Find that nice, stable alignment. You may need to pull your feet apart a little bit. If the balance is pretty challenging, you might move those feet apart. That can help sometimes. And again, hands can go anywhere you'd like. Check in with that breath, nice and long, deep and smooth. Good. Bringing those fingers down, left foot steps back, down dog. Okay, now option. If anybody has sore wrists at this point, feel free to take a little child's pose, that's okay. If you want to keep the fire burning but you have sore wrists, drop those forearms to the floor for a dolphin pose. All right, coming back to your down dog when you're ready. Good job, guys. Okay, looking between the hands, we're gonna step that right foot forward. Then pivot that left heel down so that back foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. Heart feeling up. Warrior 2. Take your time. So the left foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. Front toes are straight forward. Front knee is right over the ankle or a little bit behind. Either way is okay. Torso is square with the side edge of your mat. Arms extended, gaze down that right arm, down that right middle fingertip. The mark, yep. Exactly, you read my mind. Good job. All right, flipping that front palm, reaching forward, big inhale. Exhale, sweeping through your space, reverse warrior. So right hand up, left hand sliding down your left leg, good. Yep, awesome. Now if you want to get fancy, you can reach around the back with that left arm, maybe reaching for that right thigh. Yeah, or arm straight out in front if you want that strength challenge. Beautiful, good job. Inhaling back, warrior 2. Exhaling into side angle, so bringing that right arm down to that right thigh, left arm straight up. Chest open to the side wall. Awesome. Now if the gaze can come up to that left thumb, that's wonderful. Not necessary. If it throws your balance way out of whack, you can look anywhere that you need to. Okay, option, you can stay right here. Or if you want a strength challenge, you can reach that right arm straight out in front. If you want to go for a flexibility challenge, you can reach that right hand for the floor. Now keep in mind though, if you're going for the flexibility challenge, you need to be able to keep that right hip rolling under and that left shoulder rolling back so that the chest stays open to the side wall. If it collapses forward, you might need to come up a little bit. Maybe use a block. Awesome, guys. All right, here we go. Inhaling back up, warrior 2. Okay. All right, so last chance to check those hips as parallel as possible with the side edge of your mat. Then we're gonna extend that front knee. So now both legs are straight. We're gonna kick that left hip left, reaching, 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 big inhale, and exhale, tipping sideways into triangle pose. So the hand can be, depending on your flexibility, it could be on your thigh, it could be on your shin, ankle, foot, or floor, whatever is appropriate for you today. Now, keep in mind, just like with side angle pose, if that left shoulder is folding forward, you're probably a little bit too low, and you'll benefit from using a block or bringing your right hand up onto your shin, just to get a little bit more height. Good. Beautiful. Awesome, guys. Okay, here we go. We're gonna put a bend in that front knee. We're gonna sweep those left fingers down as we come up on those left toes. Plant the other hand down, so now we're in a really low lunge. We're gonna step that front foot back as we chaturanga. Good job, guys. Lifting forward, press the ground away, inhale. Cobra. Lifting the hips up and back, exhale. Downward facing dog.
Taking a few breaths here. Now make a mental note of what you did with your hands there. The integrity, those fingertips engaged, those knuckle pads engaged, and to dump that weight into the base of the wrists. All right, guys, looking between those hands, stepping that left foot forward, in between the hands, dropping that right heel down so that back foot is parallel with that edge of the mat. Wheeling up to your warrior two. Good. Take a moment, check yourself out. So again, that back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Front toes are pointing straight forward, front knee over the ankle, a little bit behind his spine too. And then the hips are parallel with that side edge of your mat. Arms extended. Reaching down that left arm, down that left middle fingertip. Good job, guys. Flipping that front palm or reaching forward, big inhale. Exhale, sweeping back through your space, reverse warrior. Beautiful. So the chest is open to the side wall. If you can, a little bit towards the ceiling is even better. Beautiful. Gazing up to that top hand if it's possible. If not, no worries. Way to go, Gail. The power option every time. Well done. All right. Inhaling back, warrior two. Exhaling into our supported side angle, bringing that left arm down to that left thigh. Right arm straight up. Gazing up to that right thumb if it's possible. Now remember, that left hip needs to stay tucked under. That right shoulder needs to be pulled back, stacked on top of the left. All right, option time. Want to go for that strength option, extend that left arm straight out in front of you. If you want to go for that flexibility option, bring those fingers to the floor. But keep in mind, if it makes you stick your left hip way out and your right shoulder caves in, you probably need to be up on a block. Kathy, you should grab that block. It'll be such a better pose, I promise. Tucking that left hip under, rolling that right hip back. Okay, guys. Good job. Inhaling back up to warrior two. Okay. While you hang out in your warrior two, so stay right here, I'm going to show you what I mean about the hip. So I'm going to show you from this angle. So in our side angle, right? If you're reaching for the floor, that's what it would need to look like. This is what I see most of the time. See how that left hip sticks way out and that right shoulder caves in? You need to be able to keep it in line as you come down. Yeah, oh, Kathy, that's it. That's it. Yeah, if anybody wants to try it, go ahead. So really thinking about keeping that left hip tucked under and that right shoulder pulling back, staying stacked on top of that left one. Yeah, oh my God, night and day. Beautiful, guys. Yes. Okay. Meeting back in our warrior twos. Okay, so we're gonna extend that front knee, kick that right hip to the right, reaching, big inhale, and exhale, tipping sideways triangle pose. Now this is the same with that left hip and that right shoulder. Keep that left hip tucked under, keep that right shoulder pulling back. Good. Now everybody looks good. But if you go beyond where you can keep your alignment, that hip is just gonna pop right out and that shoulder is gonna fold down, and that's when you know to lift up just a little bit more. Good job, guys. All right, putting a bend in that front knee, sweeping those right fingers down as you come up on those right toes. Left hand comes down. We're gonna step that left foot back as we chaturanga. So elbows squeezing tight to the rib cage. Good. Shifting forward, press the ground away, inhale. Up dog or cobra. Hips lifting up and back, exhale. Downward facing dog. I love this new backlighting. It's very helpful. Taking a few breaths here. Good job, guys. Look in between the hands, hop or walk those feet forward. Inhaling to your halfway lift and exhaling to your forward fold. Thinking about lifting that tailbone up behind you, keeping that spine as straight as you can on your way down. Once those hamstrings are lengthened as far as they'll go, feel free to soften into place and maybe put a little bend in those knees if the pelvis isn't tilting forward as much as you need it to. All right, now options here. Ragdoll pose if you like it. Bring those elbows into the hands, gentle rock from side to side. Now, if you're feeling like gorilla pose, go ahead. Slide those palms under the feet. Maybe bend those elbows out to the sides to help yourself a little bit deeper. Now remember, always take the option that's right for you. There's no right place to be, right? Everybody's on a different path. Or at a different place in their path. All right, little bend in those knees, engage the core. Thinking reverse swan dive, inhale, rise. All right, Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. Forward fold, heart lifted, tailbone lifted on your way down. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Mind your hands, get that good grip on the floor. Shifting forward, press the ground away, inhale, up dog or cobra. Lifting the hips up and back, exhale, downward facing dog. Looking between the hands, we're gonna hop or walk those feet forward. If you hop, think light. Inhale into your halfway lift. Exhaling, forward fold. And inhale, rise. Good, we're gonna do another one just like that. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Nice flat spine. Chaturanga, exhale, mind the hands. Shifting forward, press the ground away, inhale, up dog or cobra. Lifting hips up and back, exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, looking between the hands, hop or walk forward. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, forward fold. And inhale, rise. All right, exhale those arms down, it's balance time. Finding your balance on that right foot, bringing that left foot into your tree pose. Could be with the toes on the ground, heel on the ankle. Could be with the foot on the calf or up on the thigh. Just avoid the knee. Awesome. Now arms can be anywhere you'd like them. Good job. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. We're gonna inhale, lift that left knee, and exhale into warrior three. Now you can keep the hands at heart center if you want, or you can extend them. It's okay to hold on to something if you need to also. Yep, good idea. Good job, guys. That was a long one. Inhaling that knee back up. And exhale, set it down. Good job. All right, finding your balance on that left foot, bringing that right foot into your version of tree pose. Good job, guys. Here we go. Inhaling that right knee high. And exhale. Warrior three. So arms can be wherever you want them to be. They can be out front if you're feeling extra powerful today. They can be at heart center, which is a good kind of neutral territory. You can even have them behind you, which makes it just a little bit easier. Good. Good job, guys. Inhaling that right knee high. And exhale. Let it go. Good. Not bad at all. Bring those feet wide. So toes are turning in a little bit, heels are turning out a little bit, just a little bit. Bring those hands to the hips. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the tailbone, and exhale, heart leading on the way down. Now the hands can come to the thighs, the shin, ankles, feet, floor, wherever your body lets them go. And don't feel like you have to hurry into this pose. You have a minute or so. Now, if you're pretty accomplished in this pose, bring those hands on an invisible line between the feet, bending those elbows to lower your heart towards the floor. And then if that was no big deal, then you might walk the hands underneath. Now make sure you're breathing. Your breath is always that canary in the coal mine that lets you know if you're passing your limits or if you're within them. If you can't breathe, if you can't catch your breath, you've passed your limits a little bit. Good job, guys. Okay, we're headed for our yogi squat. So you can hop or walk your feet in your yogi squat. Now, if the heels don't come down, try to bring the feet wider. A lot of the time that does the trick. Good. I was so impressed the other day. One of my students that I've had for a long time, actually. Well, a pretty long time, as long as I've been doing virtual yoga. We were doing this pose and she's like, well, what now? And I'm like, what do you mean, what now? Get your heels down, get in your pose, stretch. And she's like, well, yeah, but I can do that. And I'm like, what? So if you're finding that this is no big deal anymore, then what you can do to make it just a little bit deeper, you can start to bring the chest towards the floor.
Think about keeping the knees pointed to the ceiling, and then maybe the forearms come down.
Now, if the regular pose is still plenty of a stretch, plenty of a challenge, just work on that. It's totally good. Even if it is easy, one of those stretches, I think, that just feels well. So Kathy, for you, this would be a good one if like the family's just watching TV or whatever, and you can bring your back up against a wall and go into your squat with your back up against a wall. That's gonna give you the right stretch that you need. And stay there for, like 10 minutes if you can tolerate it. All right, pro pose, if anybody wants to go there. If you don't want to, that's totally okay. You can just stay in your yogi squat, that's fine. Otherwise, plant those hands, bring those knees into the armpits. I love it, Sabrina. Good. Come up on those toes and chatter onto the arms. Elbows are magnetized, knees are magnetized. Everything's pulling towards center here. Mind the grip. Fingertips are engaged, knuckle pads are engaged, holding space for that little bubble in the palm of your hand. Now remember, this is about balance, not about brute force. So if it's taking a lot of strength to get those legs up, you're not far enough forward. Move your weight forward over your wrists until those feet become light and lift by themselves. Now make sure that you don't look directly down. The weight of your head might pull you into a somersault, which is fun if you know it's coming, but if it's a surprise. Good, Kathy. Okay, so that's really good, but can you bring the knees onto the triceps? Can you bring them in? Maybe. Because they're just beautiful. Oh, there it is. Oh, they're sliding. That's it. That's the form. You just want to get your knees a little bit closer into the armpit and a little bit farther from the elbow. Good job, guys. Let's hit the floor. If you have a water bottle handy, grab a drink. All right. Bringing the bottoms of those feet together, Konasana. So thighs, thigh bones, rolling back and down. Now notice where your tailbone is here. If your tailbone is tucked under, you're kind of doomed from the start. So if that's the case, bring those fingers to the mat, lift yourself up, pull the tailbone out behind you so that the pelvis is tilting forward and not back. Good. Now, if your knees are almost to the floor, but they're not quite making it, you can get that last little bit by engaging the glutes. Well, awesome. Okay, if everything's feeling good, there's no pinches, no pulls, especially in the knees. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale. Walk yourself forward. Now, this is different for everybody. For some folks, it is really a challenge. So if you find yourself up at the top and this is a lot of stretch, great, that's your spot and it's perfectly fine. As long as you're feeling a stretch, you're in your perfect spot. You don't have to be where everybody else is or where anybody is. Good job, guys. Bring those fingers to the mat. Gently press yourself up. Extend those legs. Roll out those hip sockets. All right, we're going to keep that left leg stretched long. We're going to tuck that right heel. Inhaling those arms high. And exhale, folding forward. Think about lifting the tailbone behind you as you come down. Make sure that pelvis is tilting forward so that your low back is as straight as possible. All right, guys, bring those fingers to the mat. Gently press yourself up. Planting those right fingers behind. We're gonna sweep up onto that. Actually first, bringing that right foot to that left knee. There we go. Then we're gonna sweep up onto that right knee and shin. Once the hips are lifted, sweeping that right ankle towards that right wrist, opening the heart to the sky. Now pressing those hips forward, pressing the pelvis forward, trying to bring that right thigh straight up and down. Beautiful, big inhale. And exhale, slow and with control, lowering yourself back down. Awesome. Extending that right leg, tucking that left leg. Notice where that tailbone is. If you need to pull it behind, go for it. Rocking that pelvis forward. Inhaling those arms up. And exhale, folding forward.
All right, bringing those fingers to the mat, gently press yourself up. Scooching to the right side of your mat if you're not there already. Bringing the left foot to that right knee, left fingers behind, sweeping yourself up onto that left knee and shin. Once those hips are lifted, sweeping that left ankle towards that left wrist, then pressing the pelvis forward, opening the heart to the sky. Trying to get that left hip over that left knee. Beautiful, big inhale. And exhale, slowly, gently. Sweep your way down. Okay, we are headed for just a moment in a supported bridge pose. So if you have a block, grab it. If you don't have a block, you can use a pillow, or you could use books or anything like that. Just something to give you a few inches of lift. All right, so lying on the back, bringing those feet in to where you can reach them with your index finger or your middle finger. Lift those hips, slide that block under. Now the level is up to you. You can go low, medium. High is a lot for some folks. For others, it's not a big deal. So whatever level feels good for you. If you do go for the high setting, that does start to put some pressure on the neck. Make sure you don't turn your head. Find a spot on the ceiling, lock your gaze there. And if you want to, you can slowly walk those feet out, maybe until the legs are extended long, maybe not. Now, if you start to feel pinchy in the sacrum, or if you start to feel any tinglies in the toes, then walk those legs back in. All right, walking those legs back in if you have them extended. Then lift those hips just enough to get that block out. Now you're gonna be tempted to squeeze the knees right away, don't do it. Bring those feet wide, windshield wipers. All right, now giving those knees a big squeeze. Big inhale. And exhale, let those knees fall to the right, keeping that left shoulder down if it'll stay. Now start to really let everything go. Think about relaxing through the face, the neck, shoulders, releasing the core. And gently bringing those knees back to center. Give them another little squeeze, then another big inhale. And exhale, drop those knees to the left, keeping that right shoulder down if it'll stay. And gently bringing those knees back to center. Giving them one last big squeeze, one last big inhale, and exhale, extend into your Shavasana. Now take a moment to get perfectly comfortable. If you want to grab a pillow, grab a blanket, turn off lights, close the blinds, whatever it might be, go for it. Yeah, if you have an eye pillow, grab it. Then relaxing the forehead. Relaxing the eyebrows. All of those little muscles around the eyes, relax them, let them go. Soften the cheeks, letting them melt down towards the ears. And relax the jaw, letting the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. With each exhale, body pressing heavier and heavier into your mat. With each exhale, falling deeper and deeper into relaxation. These next few moments, just relax. Now starting to bring your awareness back into your body. Maybe wiggling some fingers, maybe wiggling some toes. Maybe reaching arms overhead for a big full body stretch. And then when you're rolling onto whichever side is the most comfortable for you, savoring these last few moments of relaxation. Then using as little effort as possible, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed or lowered. Now take a moment, relax all of those muscles in the face, relaxing the neck, traps, shoulders, maybe making some circles with the head. Taking a moment to feel within, noticing what's changed, noticing the result of the practice you've just completed. And inhaling the arms out and up, bringing palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Inhaling out and up.
See yourself grabbing your big hand full of divine energy. Exhale, pull it down to heart center. Feel that warmth. See the glow. Last time, inhaling out and up. Bringing palms to touch. Exhaling down to the third eye for the mind. To heart center for the body and spirit. Namaste. The best thing about Monday is yoga.